Why does Satan want to kill us? First, I must emphasize that not all deaths in this world are caused by Satan. Most of them aren't. When God sentenced us to death, He didn't just put a cap on our lifespan. He also removed His protection from us, according to Genesis chapter 6 verse 3. This meant that random events, like car accidents and heart attacks, were now able to kill us. Assuming car accidents were possible before the fall of man, it would be like when we fall off a bike. If people even got injured at all, that is. Nothing serious would happen. But now, there were injuries. There was death. Therefore, Satan isn't going around killing people daily. Most deaths are due to happenstance. Your country happens to have a war, you happen to get cancer, etc. The devil doesn't want the vast majority of us dead. I just chose this title because it's more exciting. However, Satan isn't going to do nothing just because we tend to die a lot. Remember, he's the god of this world, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verses 3 to 4 and John chapter 12 verse 31. He's a ruler, and he needs to protect his realm from the expansion of God's kingdom. Thus, he wants to lure humans into worshiping him. He did that with Adam and Eve in Genesis chapter 3 verses 1 to 6, and he also did that with King David. He convinced him to take an illegal census in 1 Chronicles chapter 21 and get into an illegal relationship in 2 Samuel chapter 11. When Satan causes someone to do a big sin, he's brought them over to his side. However, sometimes the devil finds that he can't take over a righteous person's heart. This is probably because they follow this advice from Proverbs. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23. He might also find that they follow this advice from St. Paul. But now I have written unto you not to keep company. If any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such a one know not to eat. 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 11. Not being best friends with bad people is going to help us stay righteous. Anyway, in these cases, Satan might want to just kill the righteous person, because with the power of the righteous example and with their preaching, Satan's people can come to God. As Jesus told us, let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew chapter 5 verse 16. As St. Paul said, let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers, in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 12. For example, many of the Jews that were controlled by Satan the devil through the Pharisees came to God, according to Matthew chapter 11 verses 25 to 26, and so Satan killed Jesus Christ on earth through the wicked Jews and Romans, according to John chapter 14 verse 30. This would allow him to end Jesus Christ's preaching and continue his own reign. Of course, we know that things didn't exactly go to plan. God resurrected Jesus in Matthew chapter 28 verses 5 to 7, and Christ later became the ruler of God's kingdom. As the psalmist told us, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand, until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Psalms chapter 110 verse 1. According to Revelation chapter 12 verses 7 to 9, Jesus will defeat Satan once and for all, and we are already seeing signs of that in our time, according to Matthew chapter 24. However, the fact that Satan could do such a thing to God's Son shows how far he can go to pursue his agenda. If Jesus could suffer at his hands, what could happen to us? We can only trust in God's spiritual protection, according to Luke chapter 21 verses 17 to 18, which is provided to righteous people. It's not physical protection, which is why Christians can get murdered or sick, but it means we won't suffer eternal death. As it was said in Matthew, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Matthew chapter 10 verse 28. And that is where I'm going to stop with this Bible Q&A. Why does Satan want to kill us? Satan doesn't want to kill people for no reason. He wants power in this world, and he can do anything to eliminate the threat of the righteous, even if it means eliminating them. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.